Hi, this is Mike Hendrickson from Strata Hadoop World in New York City. I'm here with Justin Murray. Justin, how you doing?
Very well, thank you, Mike.
So you're with VMware.
Yes.
And we had a conversation last year?
We did, about 7 months ago, I think it was, at Strata.
So what has changed with VMware in those 7 months?
Quite a lot has changed. We've been working on our Big Data Extensions product pretty heavily, and we've been building enterprise robustness into it, so that if a disk fails in your Hadoop cluster, we can repair that for you, make sure you can continue going. And if your networking is not too healthy, we'll spot that earlier now. We'll figure out if DNS and DHCP are working correctly for you. And so making it an easier experience to deploy Hadoop is the core theme here. And then scaling up to larger is a next theme we're thinking about and have done something about. So making the Hadoop clusters fit onto virtual machines in a more highly scalable fashion.
So you're more than just virtualized servers now, right?
We are.
You're a lot more.
Virtualization is the core. That's where we want the workload to land. But there's a whole bunch of tools around it, big data extensions, vRealize operations, vRealize automation, that helps with the general automation of the Hadoop cluster.
So how do you guys make it easier for a partner to work with you? I mean, so what is the big gain for a partner to work with VMware?
The first is customer demand. So customers are going to our partners like Cloudera and Hortonworks and MapR and saying to them, we'd really like to virtualize this. Tell us if you can virtualize this, and tell us how to do it. And we've built a bunch of reference architectures with Cloudera, and we're working on some more with the other vendors to say, here's the cookbook. Here's where you start. Here's the type of infrastructure that you need. Here are the tools that will help you from VMware to do that, and here's the procedure for getting it done. So we're getting tighter and tighter relationships with Cloudera and the other partners to make sure that that's an effective process.
Okay, so then let's take an example of a medium-sized company. Let's say they're a $20 million company, and their goal is to grow to a $60 million company. How does VMware help that company grow?
So we essentially solve the problem of data center consolidation for them first. That's been classically the VMware play. So reduce costs so that they can get better return on investment out of their hardware, essentially. And VMware's vision is a software-defined data center where everything is managed in software. So we're now doing the same thing we did for the compute layer, virtualizing that. We're now virtualizing the storage and virtualizing the networking, and we'll virtualize other things in the future. Virtualizing the flash, for example, so that you don't really get tied down to a specific hardware when you choose to build your infrastructure anymore. And that saves you cost. And so the way in which we're helping those mid-sized companies grow larger is helping them to optimize their compute infrastructure to get the best out of it. And Hadoop is one example of that. And helping them to be effectively independent of the hardware.
So almost like virtualized plumbing and electricity.
Yes,
yeah.
it's
kind of
spreading. It's spreading. Yes.
Yeah. So what do you see on your roadmap for the next 6 to 8 months? Let's say we have this conversation in San Jose coming up.
In the Hadoop context, we're looking at the new workloads, the HBase, the Spark workloads, and measuring those carefully. They're going to place different stresses on the underlying infrastructure. Spark is going to ask for 128 gigabytes or 256 gigabytes of memory in a VM. We're pretty confident we can do that because we've been virtualizing SAP HANA, for example, for a long time. SAP HANA started its life as a in-memory infrastructure, in-memory database. And that said, how about a virtual machine with a terabyte of memory? So we've been testing that for a long time. We think the same principles will apply to Spark. Machine learning involves iterating over the data many times over. So these new things will come into existence on virtual.
So Virtualized Spark is coming?
Virtualized Spark is happening.
It's happening or it's coming?
It's happening.
It's
happening. Customers are doing it even ahead of us today.
Okay, and so other tools as well? Are you going to virtualize a bunch of the ecosystem around?
Everything in the ecosystem we want to virtualize. So all of the tools that sit above Hadoop itself, sit above HDFS, no matter what it is, we think you can virtualize.
And so what's the typical turnaround for you guys when something, let's say a new tool like Kafka comes out or Flink like another version of Spark type thing.
Yeah.
How long would it take you guys to spin that out to a virtualized?
Not long at all in terms of deployment. So getting Spark deployed on virtual machines is there today. You can do that. And some customers, advanced of the others, have done it already. Optimizing it to sit nicely onto the virtual infrastructure so that you can squeeze the last ounce of performance out of it, that's a few months. That requires a performance engineer to look at it, and we have engineering on it right now to do that.
So you're both a data company and a performance company, cloud company?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So VMware is obsessed with performance. We do a lot of testing of performance. We've been doing that on Hadoop for about 4 years now. It's moved on now into the Spark world, so the engineers are looking at that now. Recently completed a blog on HBase. You can virtualize that with very good performance. The cloud offering is vCloud Air from VMware, and in the future you'll be putting Hadoop on there as well.
Okay.
We're really talking to very significant enterprises who have sensitive data that they want to keep inside their firewall, and perhaps not all of that data can go to the cloud right away for PCI or PII reasons, etc.
So before we talk in San Jose in 6 months from now, what is going to keep you awake at night most about what you guys are doing or what you should be doing? What is it that is on your mind that you really want to get to, but you just don't have that to get to?
I guess the main reason that I would worry would be, are we doing the right things to help the customers in the right way to get virtualized? They're clearly coming to us with a lot of requests to virtualize. Are we solving the right problems to ease their path onto virtualization? Are we going to market with the partners the correct way? So are we operating with Cloudera and Hortonworks and Mapr the right way? There's a ton of demands on their time. They're very busy talking to our Isilon division in EMC, for example. So are we giving them the attention they deserve and giving them the tools that they need to talk to customers about this? That's the main thing. Excellent. I spend a lot of time on.
Excellent. We will look forward to that conversation in San Jose.
Look forward to it. Thank you, Mike.